Hello everyone, welcome to the inaugural Northwest Collector Auto Repair video series on the 1997 Land Rover Discovery. Picked this up in Eugene, Oregon, just 1 weekend ago actually. Picked it up on a borrowed trailer, really nice trailer, and I used my trusty old 1976 F-150, pretty much all original. It got repainted once, original engine, original transmission. It's a 360 V8 with a 4-speed Borg-Warner transmission. I don't remember what rear end is in it, but open differential, and it was asking a lot of the truck, but it actually did pretty well, all things considered. And of course, we've got the 1995 Land Rover Discovery, the Columbia Disco. I'm going to be doing a video series on each of these just to kind of give a once-over on everything that's going on. But our subject of today's video is the Land Rover. I really wanted to film the trip, but I didn't really work out that way. Was focusing on the journey and asking a 47-year-old half-ton pickup truck to pull a 6,000-pound load with a dead Land Rover and a 2,000-pound trailer on it. So figured could divide my attention at a later date, but want to get the job done and get it home safely. So the story on this one is the previous owner only owned it for a brief period. Basically, he picked it up kind of as a package deal with a running Land Rover and a bunch of parts that he wanted for a build that he was doing. And this one was kind of on the chopping block. Dead Land Rovers kind of just turned into parts cars for a lot of other vehicles, which really was what kind of attracted me to this, is that the bones of this one are really good, as you'll see shortly, but a lot of people just get the transfer case, the axles, interior parts, just body panels, because these things tend to rust out disproportionately in certain spots, and no one likes the Rover V8s. However, my plan on this one is to restore, put the Rover V8 back together, which there's some foreshadowing there. That is exactly what we did with this one. It was running on 5 cylinders. One bank had 3 dead cylinders. 2 had failed between each other, and 1 had an exhaust failure out the side. It actually ran, and we drove it up on the trailer. But that's 1 Rover V8 salvaged, and we're going to do it again. And the good and bad is someone got a head start. So the owner prior to the previous owner, so I'll say the guy that did this work was one prior to the fellow that I bought it from, who was super awesome to work with, really cool guy, outside of Eugene, Oregon. He has a beautiful 130 truck, which is the extended cab pickup truck version of the Defender 110. Really cool vehicle, but he wanted a bunch of parts for it. And the guy who had owned this prior to him was a younger fellow who was eager to, I think he had sort of an end vision for the stuff he wanted to work on, but didn't have the patience to follow through on what he started. So he had, I think, three or four incomplete projects that all ended up getting pieced out by the guy's parents. He moved to Australia, and his parents got sick of his dead Rovers lying around, so they took matters into their own hands. But that brings us to where we are today. That fellow got a package deal, and then I got one part of it. And this is, I will say, it's intimidating. We haven't done full parts inventory, and that's something I thought we could do together if I could get the camera set up and go through some of the parts here. I know there are some duplicates of some things, and I bet there's a bunch of stuff missing, so we'll take a loose inventory and go from there. And surprisingly, there's typical surface rust, but for a Land Rover Discovery, this is not bad at all in terms of rust. We'll get into it, but look here. So just kind of the superficial stuff, suspension down below, really not bad. Just kind of a skim of stuff. But if you notice, like frame rails, it is just, excuse me, sorry. Really, 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 really clean. And that's coming from a dry, bear with me here, a dry West Coast climate. It's still even clean for us. And that's really, I got just kind of hints of this as I was talking to the guy about it. And I just, we can't part this out. This is better than our Land Rover that we put a ton of time and effort into. So we're going to save you, little friend. One other inexplicable thing. So those of you that have a sharp eye will notice that this kind of damage comes from pretty much exactly one thing. So if we open the door here, some encouragement. Alas, the story here is that the striker must have broken or was just removed for some reason. And either the wind caught it or someone wasn't thinking, and it just really buggered up the hinge pretty badly. As you can see here, this is supposed to be sitting flush like that one. And that's a better, well, this one looks exactly the same. But we'll come back here to a perfectly functional door, and you'll see that they're both supposed to be sitting flush. Alas. And that's what the door striker is supposed to look like. So, well, we got both doors open. This vehicle had seemingly a pretty easy life. It's got 140, well, I believe to be 149,000 miles. Just little stuff like the air filter I checked that, and it was changed 5 miles prior. It's a 5 mile old air filter. That just kind of seems like someone took care of this. This is all original, which is really nice to see, because the more original, the less crappy wiring I have to deal with, which seems to be everything I've worked on prior to this, is just a rat's nest of terrible wiring. The one thing about this is everything's been messed with, but I really think it's that last guy. I think the person who, here's theoretically, that is going to be all the parts we need. But there's a really good chance it is also not all the parts we need. But it does have a head gasket kit. I don't know the history on this stuff. I'm pretty sure. I really like Atlantic British, and I really like their parts vetting process. And I've got other vendors, and head bolts. I'm almost positive I'm going to do ARP head studs, just because I think these are a big issue of what happens to these Land Rovers. So it's over $200 now, I think. But that's a lot of peace of mind for me, rather than having to do head bolts that back out every 30,000 miles. So lots of parts here. Anyways, lots of stuff on this was just messed with. It's not broken. It's not even necessarily missing, but there's a lot of things in this vehicle that are just, sorry, I'm giving you a headache, just off. Same thing on this side. We'll see a little more of that later. Another big thing here. So as far as I can tell, with what little I know, this was a Western Oregon vehicle its whole life, which means not a lot of rust, but the story that I'm seeing here with a missing headliner, or missing, skin on the headliner, as well as all of the floor trim has screws missing, even though it's not rusty, as far as I can tell. Time will tell there. But just having carpet trim missing, and missing headliner, and just little things here and there. I suspect that this vehicle did have mold. Like I said, we'll go through all this together. But yeah, here we go. Here's another one. This it's not great. But again, the bones here are really good. For example, Discovery people will know this is almost always even just having these being intact is a big deal. But our wonderful Land Rover, which is actually a really good example as well, had pretty much a rainbow of just missing material that someone had put packing tape over, and Melody actually went through with fiberglass and did a really good job putting that together. But yeah, this is the red Discovery actually is a rear AC model, and so you can see it's got a big build out there, and there was a seat. You can't really see it that well. Let's try that. There was a seat in the back there that we took out, and then it has the seat here, which is kind of nice. I would rather have the cargo space, so it's really nice. This one has, as you can see, it's completely open there. completely open there. You also get more use of this window, not that it makes that much of a difference, but as you can see on the Columbia Disco, there's a small section here that's also built out. That's where the ducting is, whereas here it's just flush to the column, which is really nice. I just realized there's no grab handle, but that makes sense with there not being seats back here. Anyway, so right off the bat, where are they? There are, I think, 3 alternators in here kicking around. This vehicle has, I believe it's got both sway bars. Yes, it does. It's got the front and the back. So, right off the bat, we've got 2 sway bars that didn't come with it. We have 2 roof racks up here, and 3, 4 crossbars here. This is the rear trim. That's nice. Push rods. I don't know if these are. I need to double check. It would make sense that these are from Discovery 1. These, I'm pretty sure are for a diesel. So, it's free parts there. Got some monster bolts there. We've got, looks like a thermostat housing. Again, I don't think this is from a Discovery 1, but I really need to take it all apart and find out. The front bumper is completely missing. I know that. The previous owner has it, actually, and I'm going to be picking it up from him. He's a really cool guy. Really went above and beyond, which I appreciate. There's the bumper skin is there. No radiator as well, no battery either. Wiring set, another alternator. Again, might not even be from this. Got some climate control stuff, some bracketry, this. Yeah, we'll go through that. But it does have this box back here. Ours, oh, yep, see. Oh, no, you can't see. There you go. There would have been a cargo container here. I removed that from our Land Rover. I removed this as well. Well, it was removed and I didn't reinstall it. It's amazing how nice these doors close without the rear tire carrier, which we do have, fortunately. Let's see. Well, I'll give you guys another view of the undercarriage. It's even, well, just the distinct absence of rust is just magical. Sway bars, like the springs still have paint on them. The hitch, really, really nice. So, yeah, once again, the big selling point on that one. Also, trailer hitch, I don't think they came standard, but they're generally on them. Really happy to see that. And no crunches. The lights are intact. These, take a step back. These are relatively square and secure. They tend to kind of get a little bit wonky. You can see this one's kind of creeping out a little bit. But, I mean, compared to, again, I'll do a full walk around on this one. Of course, there's a lot more trail dust on our friend here. But yeah, this is very typical of just kind of being the way it is. So, yeah, that's kind of the story on this one. Let's squeeze through, get all close and personal. Step 1 is clearing everything out. Step 2 is going to be putting everything that I can put back in that's not related to the engine. Like, the seats are free floating. I'm not sure why. So track down the hardware for that and put them in just so, I don't want to store a bunch of parts in the garage. We have, a good amount of space in the garage, but if I don't have to store stuff in here, in the garage, that could just be on a vehicle, I'd rather do that. There's also, stuff like this, So I suspect the regulators failed. This is the previous guy did this for me, actually. I hope the window's not broken. Yep, window's good. I suspect the regulator failed and it's just sitting low. But, there's just missing switch. I happen to have door cards from, I think, a 98, which may be going in this. These aren't in terrible shape. But, as it always goes, of course, so door cards on the red Discovery were much worse than this, and I replaced them. Actually, no, I take that back. They were not as bad as this, but I was able to find door cards from a 98. Same thing, tan, all matching parts, and I replaced that. really happy about that. But I kept that spare door card, which was, again, better than this, and I threw it out. It was just taking space, so I crushed it up and threw it out because it was being the worst of the two. I didn't see a reason to keep it, and I had actually sold the driver one. Not on this vehicle. Don't know why I pointed over there, but I did sell the lesser spare on the driver's side on the red Land Rover. All that to say, I had a spare that was better than this that I threw out, honestly, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. Just that. I kept it for over 2 years and then finally threw it out. That's why you keep spares, people. But also, don't be a pack rat. I also think that this store trim and stuff is in there. Otherwise, it might be in the part stash already, because we used to get a lot more stuff whenever they would show up in the junkyard, but now it's been a little bit. So, that is the story on this one. This is just kind of a free-form stream of consciousness. Welcome to the channel. Let me know what you guys think. I'm very excited about this. It's going to be a lot of work, but the parts inventory is going to be coming up soon. And I think now that I'm thinking through it, we're already coming up on 16 minutes here. So I'll do a separate video where we go through the parts together. And then, like I said, we do have some friends, which some of you may know, and they're each going to get a little spiel of their own, just with the history and the work we've done to them. There's also some goodies out front over yonder. But thanks, everyone. Let's see if we get a good shot for the thumbnail. No, we'll go over here. So, more to come. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. I've been documenting this stuff on Instagram for quite a while now. And it's kind of the thing I would have liked to have filmed a lot more of it. And I'm finally just kind of taking the jump and putting some extra time into it. And if it's just a total time sink and no one watches it, then I'll just go back to Instagram. But giving you guys the option, a couple people have actually asked me to do this. Not just feeding my own ego. But yeah. So we'll be seeing a lot more of this one in the days and weeks to come. Thanks, guys.